Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of From Page to Stage. I'm your host, Wendy Corner, and this podcast is aimed at authors. Some authors have already done the page and the stage. Some authors have done the page bit, not quite sure about the stage bit. So that's where we come in. We have an inspirational set of recordings that people have shared there, both page and stage. And we have some aspirational recordings where guests are getting going, trying out this podcast idea. Because if you can have a one-on-one conversation with someone, you can do a podcast. Welcome. Mary, I'm so excited to introduce you to this lovely lady, Mary Gooden, who is based in Sedona, Arizona, a place very close to my heart. Now, I could give you lots of introduction on Mary, but I'm going to do it herself because she knows herself better than I do. Mary, tell us a bit about yourself and how you've got to where you are now.
Oh, thanks, Wendy. Thanks for having me on the show. And thank you to all of you that are listening. How have I got from here to there? It's such a fun question. And who am I? These are questions that I remind myself of every day, but I like to say that I am Mary Gooden. I consider myself the CEO and founder of my brilliant life. I recognize that I have made a choice to be here. And I have a lot of gifts. I've been blessed as a speaker, an author, a publisher. I'm an intuitive mentor. I am with the modalities of yoga and breathwork and Reiki and sacred sound facilitations. I host retreats here, Wendy, in this beautiful energy of Sedona. And again, blessed with all of these gifts. And all I want to do is share them and share my stories and share my life and remind people of what else is possible. So that really is what I get to do. How I got here probably is a very similar story to a lot of you that are listening will resonate. I started my life in a corporate career of striving and hoping that one day I would feel successful, that I would feel satisfied and fulfilled by following a program or a version of what someone else had done to feel successful that didn't really align with my soul. And I spent many years walking that path, but I discovered so much. Like all of this is part of the gifts that we received. And I say that because this represents what storytelling and book writing has brought to me, is the recognition that each and every part sequentially of my life has been an activation to the very best version of who I came here to be. But that career taught me a lot, Wendy, if you can imagine.
I can.
Some of us, we get caught up in doing it someone else's way and hoping that it's going to give us the same benefits that it gave that person. And oftentimes we're sadly mistaken.
Yes.
Or disappointed.
Yeah. You kind of feel that empty feeling, don't you? It's obviously it's worked for you, but that's not my journey. Yes.
Yeah. And so I walked through that. It was a 25-year journey. It was a 25-year relationship with my career. It was a 25-year relationship with my first husband, with the father of my children. And at the moment that I decided, through a series of panic attacks, my body was reacting, my body was panicking at the thought of spending another day in a very misaligned life. My body reacted. As I worked through that, I decided to choose something more fun. I call it my soul aligned journey, which was resigning from that corporate chaos. And with that came the journey, the story that we all have, this very high moment that we're like, I'm going to do me. And then the journey that takes us down to the very base. So not so we can suffer, it's so that we can surrender, so that we can let in the actual soul aligned structure and rebuild. And so that's what I did. 25-year relationship came to an end, came to that journey, came to an end with loads of enlightenment, and a new journey was brought forward. And that one started on my knees and at the very depth of my heart. It started with me, connecting with me. I have 3 non-negotiable practices that I write about, that I used to get from the very beginning to this joyful presence of infinite and limitless possibility. And that was one, daily connection. Number 2 is I don't need to make you wait forever. Number 2 is actually moving it through my body. It's embodying that by moving, by being in nature, by creating from the very essence of the present moment. And the third one is to celebrate it, to say it out loud. That's what we do when we write. That's what I did with my affirmation book, to actually be the beacon, shine the light, use the voice, and get on stage with it and tell people, I did this. I got to start over. And I got to start over and choose the foundation that fit with the very depth of my soul and my heart. And for me, that was first a fitness club, a brick and mortar. And then it was a yoga studio. My biggest dream was to have a studio of my own, which then shape-shifted to realizing that we all have a message and a story and an experience. And what brought me to publishing? That's the magic question. And
this is where we were going. Yes. Where? Because you're a publisher. Which came first, publishing or writing?
Writing came first.
Okay,
writing, and well, they both came at the same time, because it was the invitation to write in a published piece. So that story, you're right, the 25-year end to the brand new beginning. And choosing to walk my journey, choosing to trust myself, choosing to love myself, choosing to know that there is a whole team, divine presence, universe, God, source, angels, all of it, just waiting for me to surrender, to let them in. And so I got to do all the things. And although I was divorced, and although I went through custody battles, and although I went through some of these very 3-dimensional parts of the program, I learned something every step of the way, that I could choose my perception of it.
Yes. That's the word that's coming through over and over again. You had a choice. What I'm hearing from you, there's no victim mentality here. This was you making a decision, an active decision, that was no longer working for you. You were choosing to do something different, to, as you said, align with your real self. Choose you.
With my dreams and my desires and my realities. And it, sometimes on my podcast, that's what we talk about, shine your soul light. Sometimes the stuff hits the fan, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing. So my blessing in my stuff, my soul bursting open, my heart surrendering, was the idea that when somebody walked up to me and said, Mary, I can get you a global audience. And what you didn't know, and what I didn't get a chance to share really, that through my processes, through my journeys, when I would go into meditation, it was always like bigger audience, bigger than the yoga studio, bigger than that, bigger than that. And this woman walked in my life. She came to one of my ceremonies, actually. She walked into my life, and that's what she brought, the invitation for that kind of visibility. And it came through the book. Will you write a chapter in the book, a collaborative book titled Phoenix, How Women Rise from the Ashes and Find Hope? And in that moment that I was like, well, gosh, I don't have a story and I don't write. These were my two boundaries. These were my
Yes.
two old thought patterns. I heard the one thing that was important to my soul: global audience, global stage,
Mhm.
bigger audience. The one thing I kept hearing from my soul in meditation, like, can you share this with more? Can you get more people around you somehow, Mayor? You know,
No,
because
get it out there. Yes.
I was surrendering to the magic. I was done pretending like I knew how to get where I was going.
Mhm.
I was allowing the universe to tell me through meditation, through practice.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I recognized in that moment that I said yes, even though I didn't think I had a story, even though I didn't write. My soul was screaming. So I text like, yes. And I was like, what did you do? What did you do?
Mhm.
What will you write about? And I said, I know, you'll just write about your life. You'll write about your 25-year relationship. You'll write about your 17-year-old soul that said, go, Mary, go do the things.
Mhm.
And you'll write about what you learned
Yes.
in that 20 years
Mhm.
while you were going to do the things, with the people that were around you, with the invitations that were presented.
Mhm.
And you'll write about them.
Mm.
And then I realized, like, that whole story, that whole experience was purposeful for this very moment in my life. So I could say yes to this invitation
Yes.
that expanded me beyond my wildest dreams. That's what got me to the publishing 8 months later. So, yes to Phoenix. Yes to sharing my vulnerable heart, again, in a book called Awakenings. Yes to the invitation, Mary, why don't you start your own publishing house? Because this experience felt so genuine. Like I could hold somebody's hand while they delivered this experience, while they use this part of their life
Mhm.
to enhance the next experience that they're going to have.
Yes.
It's like, my mind's blowing over here. 8 months later, Divine Destiny Publishing was born. And this was in the years 2020 and 2021. For those of you that were like wondering, when did this happen?
Oh, we all
I
remember what
resigned
happened in
from,
those years,
I did
don't
a
we?
lot between then. I resigned from corporate in 2013. So
Right.
I did spend some years going through that roller
Mhm.
coaster of the soul's
Mhm.
journey and learning just who I was. I was a divine soul here to stand for loving and lasting change. And what is one way that we massively create a ripple or a wave? By sharing our raw and real journeys in books, on
Yes.
podcasts,
Yes.
on stages, in summits. And I took the invitation and I ran with it. And I said, I will not only do it, I will hold the hands of others while they say yes to doing it. It's like magic over here.
Oh, oh, fabulous, fabulous. Well, I mean, I can relate to a certain extent in terms of the first opportunity to contribute to a collaborative book. One of my friends had signed up for a book opportunity and paid up, done the whole lot, and then sadly took a mental ill health episode and she couldn't fulfill on the contract. So she said, look, Wendy, it's all paid for. I'm not asking for any money. Just go do it. Okay. Me? Author? What? Ah, no. Just do it. So she handed this to me on a plate and I went, okay. 20 minutes later, the chapter was written. And as you said, it comes from those times when things that you'd really rather not have had happen to you if you'd had a choice to start with, when the brown stuff hits the fan. But on reflection, that was the lovely manure being spread for the next level up. So I'm well and truly with you on that. And the second book that we put out, I put out last year, was a curated book that I curated. So I didn't publish. I went with a publisher and we had a marketer. So we had sort of the three experts people involved. And I was doing the page to stage. So inviting the writers to get on stages Sadly, not many of them took me up on it, but the point was that was where the From Page to Stage was born. So it's absolutely, it's those brown trousers moments that set us up for the next moment, isn't it?
It's so true. And those moments are the reason, the very activation of us recognizing that we have a choice,
Yes.
which changes the whole story.
Yeah.
You have a choice on how you're going to remember it. You have a choice on how you're going to write it. You have a choice on how you're going to inspire with it. You have limitless choices at this hand of the game.
Yes.
Of how you're going to deliver the experience so that other people can understand and recognize and be inspired and feel a connection and see that they can make it, that they've got it.
Yes.
That they can be activated to the next level of their journey by knowing and reading about somebody else that walked through the same fire or a similar fire. It's what we came here to create, to shine in, is our very life experience and how we choose to bring it to the world.
Yes. Oh.
And share it. We're winning.
So much connection here, Mary, so much connection. So what I'm hearing from you then is that the writing came first, then you were being given, come on, spread this, not only on the page, but also with your voice. And that's when you started doing a lot more speaking. Have I got that right?
Yeah, so the writing came, the publishing came. In the publishing, becoming the lead role helped me expand my voice, because I was hosting all the calls, and I was inviting all the souls, and I was standing on a stage and extending my arms and opening my heart for other people to share, to feel what it felt like to be a published author. And to see the limitless possibility that expands from that very moment that you say yes to sharing your story in such a way. And the same can happen from the stage to the page.
Yes.
Because you can start by first on podcast and realize as you're telling your story, like, that's fire. That's medicine. A lot of people realize when they start podcasting, like, I've got a lot of medicine in me. I've got a message, and then it goes to the page.
Yes.
But for me, it was pages. And then I was put on my own stage. And then year later, after publishing, I started my own podcast. And then 6 months into that, I had some summits for some of my books. And then I decided that I really wanted to get on stage. I got a TEDx coach. I went through, I engaged with a group called Speakers Playhouse, Kimberly Crow and Jenny Trask. Like they're fun, because that's the other thing. Like it's got to be fun. If it's not fun, I'm not in. And it just really kept stepping in and stepping in and stepping in. And I'm still stepping in. I've got my own virtual summits that I'm going to be hosting over the next couple of months. I've got my own solo author book programs and courses and writing workshops that I'm just so joyfully excited to share with others. It's limitless.
And amongst all that, you're leading retreats as well, aren't you?
I am facilitating retreats here in Sedona, and our first writing retreat coming to Mexico in October in Playa del Carmen, like a beautiful place to journal your thoughts and start your self-help book, or a journal you want to bring to your audience, or a brand book, business growing. But like, there's beautiful opportunities to get on a stage, to create your own stage, to write a book. We are legacy builders. We are the generation of what else is possible. That's my children. Like, Mama, can you show me? I just saw then, the Tom Cruise thing, like, show me the money. Mama, can you show me the way? Can you show me what else is possible?
What else is possible? Yeah. Well, I mean,
And
one of the things that I've spoken to a number of people who have amazing stories, and they've said, "Oh, well, yeah, well, I don't want to write. I'm really crap at writing." And they're going, "Well, I'm sorry, but in this day and age, we all have one of these things. Talk it out." In fact, I know a number of people who are dyslexic, and that has been a big barrier for them through life. And I said, "Well, look, you've got a phenomenal story." "Yes, but I can't write it." "You can speak it, can't you?" "Oh, yeah." "It's a thing called Otter." And there are other transcription services where you can pump up your audio or record it visually, put it through that. You got a transcription. You only need to do a little bit of editing. And if you're really stuck on that one, there are lots of people who can help you out.
oh, there's so many people out there, really heart, soul led individuals that are willing to hold your hand through, there's a lot of different parts of the process, and some of it just comes down to accountability. Like, I'm not, you need small groups to get things done. You need to be surrounded by others to get motivated.
Yes.
There's all kinds of reasons. And like you're saying, Wendy, there's all kinds of support out there that really, like you said, there's no reason not to, which is how my first book found its way out into the world. There's no reason not to.
Yes.
We are in a time of life, of human experience, where we can do anything that we desire. We really can. I behold codes in my body that screams from the rooftops, every single thing is possible.
Yes.
It's everything. But that's how my first book came along. Like, you have all the things. They're
Yes.
all here.
Yeah.
Like, kind of similar to your chapter. And, it was 2 weeks for me, not 20 minutes, but 2 weeks from idea to Amazon. We weren't kidding
mine
around.
wasn't that fast.
We weren't kidding around over here.
No. I mean, what you were saying about the camaraderie and the accountability, writing can be a lonely process. And whether, I mean, if being in part of a collaborative book is great because you have that sense of community around you. You were saying that you have solo book groups. So even if you're doing a book entirely on your own, as in you are the only author involved, you can come along to your book group, so you can still bounce ideas off each other, still feel that camaraderie and that accountability. Is that what I'm hearing?
You are absolutely hearing it right. There is a community, a small group for my solo authors, and I have 3 different levels of ways that you engage, really, that are for anybody. I've got a 90-day write and publish where it's done with you. We do it together on weekly calls. There is time set aside. So we start with a writing workshop for 4 weeks, and then we roll the rest of it out. I am always there with you on a Zoom, holding your hand during those weekly calls. Because a lot of times it's like, even if you get the recorded course, you're getting the information, but it's having an accountability buddy or small group of, okay, we're getting it done right now.
Yes.
And then in 35 minutes, right when we're getting it done, then we're going to have a reflection time. And then, it's done. And then we're going to move it to the done factor. And so that works for a lot of people. I have extended spaces where they are 6 months that are a little bit more lackadaisical, still coming with a 4-week writing course. We all start there. It's already in there. It's done. You can do it. They're all recorded, but you can do it with us. You can do it by yourself. And you can also have a done for you service where you do the writing. There's still a community where you can engage and collaborate and connect. That's automatic. But somebody else edits and somebody else formats and somebody else helps support you with your cover. Like, you just say, I'm writing and here's this. And you put your 2 cents in for how you like the editing piece is done for you. The formatting's done for you. You get to pick the cover based on your own ideas. So,
Mhm.
and then I have the mega book my brand, which literally reflects your signature book, your signature talk, and your signature offer. And that course holds a 6-month space also for us to it's called matchy matchy, right? You match it all up.
Love it.
One thing that you said earlier, I want to circle back to.
Mhm.
You asked me a question, and you're probably coming to it, but how do I get on stages now? I have one tip about getting on stages. It's your story. And what I remind myself every time before I take that mic and I stand on that stage or turn on this podcast is, Mary, this is your story. And you may tell it a little differently every time, and you may remember it, and it may activate you every time, but it's your story. And you know how to tell it.
Yes.
And that's what helps me physically get on the stage.
Mhm.
I remind myself of that. It's my story, but with Book Your Brand, it's your story. And when you match it all, it's effortlessly draws in the frequency of your tribe, your vibe, your clients, your community. So that
But
is your sweet little
that's how
tactics.
you embody your words when you go from page to stage, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're right. That was going to be one of my questions. But so thank you for bringing that information in. So yes, and that okay, that's is part of your mega program, your matchy program. But in terms of you personally, you're focusing on the fact that this is your story, Mary. You know this. And it's that powerful message that you're getting out for your audience. Because one of the things that I'm sure you found when you're working with people who are wanting to get on stage is the nerves. And I go, well, yeah, who's this about? Is this about you and your nerves, or is this about you serving your audience? Oh, the audience. Yes. When you focus on them and serving them, that's when the nerves start to dissipate, because where does your energy go? Your focus goes, your energy flows. It's outward. It's not the inward. So yeah, beautiful.
Tell me, it is, it all started with writing for me, though. I say it all the time. It's writing for the wind. If I would not started writing and reading this stuff back and really looking at it and becoming completely aware and present of my experiences and how they have shaped this beautiful, right, CEO and founder of my brilliant life, how they have shaped this brilliant life, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't, and I'm just so grateful that I get to be this and I get to share this. And look, like I said, this is your story. It is your medicine. It is your message. And listen, only when you're pretending, it doesn't work. Only when you're pretending. That was my corporate, that was my career, that was my 25-year glitch.
Yes.
Only when you're pretending, that's the only time it doesn't work. So for those of you that are stopping yourself from writing your book, for getting on that stage, for sharing your message because you're afraid it's not going to work, if it truly is you, it's the only thing that works. And that's what I've learned in the last 3.5 years of becoming this person. It's a daily practice to remind myself that the one thing that works everything out is being my most authentic person, my most authentic vibration, sharing the message of my heart, that my heart and soul came here to share.
Yes.
And what is that? It is the journey of my life. Because that's all I know.
I'm wondering, do you have a daily journal practice as well?
I have this is my book, my abundant
Yeah.
affirmations, which has the affirmations. It has journal pages. And
Mhm.
yes, I write down. Yes, I reflect back. I have a series of 3 non-negotiables, and
Yes.
I'll tell them again, but in easy ways, I claim it, I create it, and I celebrate it. I go through these 3 steps every day, sometimes multiple times a day.
Mhm.
And part of my claiming it is writing it down. Part
Right.
of the creating it is coming back from my daily movement practice and writing down all the thoughts, all the invitations. They're not even my thoughts. These are the invitations that the universe gifts to me while I'm in moving meditation. And
Mhm.
these are the invitations that support the claims that I have before I go out and move. I get
Okay.
on my knees, I connect, and I claim the desires. I go move, and the invitations, the thoughts are then what I come back and write down. They are the steps. They are the frequencies. They might be an affirmation. They might be a course title. They might be a book title. They might be a journal, like, they might be
Mm.
any of these things, but they come in every day. It's the same. It's very consistent, my days.
Okay.
For those of you that feel like somehow, some way, consistency doesn't live in freedom, I beg to differ. I find more freedom with these consistent practices than I've ever felt in any lifetime that I can remember.
Yes. Yeah.
They're my
I mean,
non-negotiable.
on that front, I've worked with a number of speakers who absolutely ape structure. They do not want structure at all. I'm all about the download, and I go, okay, you're about the flow. I get that. A river still requires banks, because if it's not got the banks in which the water to flow, it becomes a muddy mire.
Hmm?
You can't make sense of it, and I can guarantee your audience won't either. So let's have some banks in which to flow.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that you've got those, that structure, that consistent
Mm-hmm.
claim,
It's part of my
create,
unity practice.
claim, create, and celebrate.
Celebrate. Oh, for heaven's sake. Can you just get some joy up? All right.
And don't wait till
Just
you get
do
to
it.
the end.
Even if you're telling the trees.
It's on the way. Yes. Yes.
Even if you're just going out to nature and saying, I've done it.
Yeah.
I love this. Oh, I feel this. Check this out. Oh my gosh, I'm winning at whatever it comes through. I've got some great affirmations in my book, but however it comes through, get to that high and sweet vibration.
Mm.
Dance, just celebrate something, anything.
Yes.
And especially as you're making shifts through your life, I feel like this is important to say, apparently.
Mhm.
Remember to go back and celebrate things that you haven't celebrated, because then that really puts the icing on the cake. It
Yes.
really does. The universe is like, you remembered, and then you went back there and you celebrated it. You get double stars. You get
Yes.
triple stars. This is true. Oh.
One of the things I'm hearing from you, and this sounds as though it's not you, is there are people who are bright, shiny object people. Oh, that's something new. Something new. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do the other. And they'll go through a series of new things, go to the next thing without actually embedding and embodying what they've learned, let alone the celebration. Because I'm on to the next thing, and I'm on to the next thing. And this is something that I think what I'm hearing from you is you're not doing that. You're actually, yes, I've got hold of this. And as you said, you're claiming it, you're creating with it, and you're celebrating it. That's brilliant. I love that. I really do. I really do.
Yeah.
So what we've established then is the writing came first and was prompted by a perfect storm from the outside of lots of different things that you chose to go, no, no more.
Mm-hmm.
You then started to speak about things as a result of your writing. So you now do both. You do the page and the stage, because as you know, your message is so important. It needs to be heard out loud, not only in the words on the page. Beautiful. You've got your solo book, how do you refer to it? Is it an incubator? Is it a group? What's the term you use?
Oh, it is a course. I have a
Of
solo
course.
book course. I have a couple of workshops and courses that are small groups for solo authors.
Excellent, excellent. And how do we get hold of you in terms of finding out more about this?
Oh, that's so easy. www.marygooden.com, MaryGooden.com. You can grab a couple of gifts there. You can see the different levels, the different shoes that I get to wear, which are all under the one umbrella of being a heart for humanity, here to create loving and lasting change across the globe. So you can learn about the publishing, the different levels of publishing. You can learn about the retreats that I facilitate, the writing retreats. You can learn about the summits and the stages and the podcasts, all in that one central location. But I'm on Facebook. That is mainly where I am. I'm on Instagram, both under my name, Mary Gooden, or Mary J. Gooden. And I'm sure that you might receive a gift of some sort, or that link in the show notes, in case you're cooking in the kitchen, listening like I do sometimes.
Well, what we're doing is this podcast goes out on YouTube first and foremost, because I'm a great believer, with my background in speech pathology. I'm so clued in to the importance of the visuals. And so it will forever be, first and foremost, a video session. Down the track, we'll probably put it up onto Spotify and YouTube and all the audio ones, because I know some people, as you say, have got their pods in and they're doing the dishes and whatever. But my first love is for a video session.
Yeah.
So that's where we are.
I listen to the YouTubes with my headphones, and I just don't watch, but I get some good listening in.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. And our podcast, From Page to Stage, launched on the 8th of April in anywhere east of Ireland. It was the 7th for you guys. But yeah, so this is what we do. We put out two recordings a week, one on Sundays and one on Wednesdays for the Americas, and Mondays and Thursdays for the rest of the world. So I'm really going to getting very excited. I'm going to be popping up the information. All of Mary's show notes will be on the YouTube channel. You'll have Mary's links there. Now, she's really great at having one primary link on her website. But if there are specific things that she comes up with, there are specific links that she would like to share with you, she's going to get hold of me and we can amend these show notes. They're what I call dynamic. So if you're listening to this podcast 2, 3, 4 months down the track and you go, oh, hang on, she spoke about something, go back and check the show notes, because they may have changed. So we now know how to get hold of you. And you've told us that you're embodying from page to stage is how you make sure everything lines up. The words on the page, the words from stage, and you're using your whole body, aren't you? Because you're doing your movement, your breath work, everything comes into play. Is there anything else you'd like to add on that?
No, I just practice, with anything that we get to be a part of, stages, pages, it is just about always coming into that place of unity. And so reminding yourself that you are one. All the things that you've ever done are still part of your oneness. They are in you. They are part of you. They are part of your story. They are part of your message. And you know this stuff. It's already in you to know this stuff. So just remind yourself, just that constant reminder of your message matters. And you know your message. And you can't say it wrong. And you can't do it wrong. It doesn't come out wrong. In fact, it will come out as many times as it comes out, for as many times you decide to share it. And it will touch the very person, the very life, the very ears and eyes that it needs to, by the exact choice of words that came out of your mouth.
Yes.
And there really is nothing to control or to worry about, because it's all part of it. It's all part of this unified consciousness that we are touching the lives with the very words that escape our mouth at the time that they escape. So you can't do this stuff wrong. It's in you.
Yes. Such wonderful wisdom. Thank you for sharing, Mary. Is there anything we finished as we're winding up? Is there anything we've missed off?
I don't think so. I think that it has been so much fun to get to know myself even more by being vocal, because that's what we get to do, and to spend this time with you, Wendy. And I'm just grateful for an opportunity to share my truth and have a good time doing it.
Oh, that's all about the fun, isn't it?
It is all about the fun.
Thank
One
you.
thing
Go on.
that I have heard, and that might be helpful, and I meant to say this earlier, and I heard it through Kimberly Crow, is your next stage is always your best stage.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I love that. And one of her other favorite ones is, if someone hands you the mic, say yes.
Yes. Yes. If somebody hands you a mic, it's a yes. It's a heck yes.
Yep.
And as we just learned, trust what comes through is exactly what needs to come through for someone.
Yes.
For someone.
I tell speakers who get hung up on that you will, it's a 3 talk day. There's the talk on the way there, the talk that you give from stage, and the talk on the way home, where you berate yourself for all the things that you missed off. And no, you trust that what you delivered from stage was what needed to be heard. And that's where you leave it, because however imperfectly perfect it was, somebody in that audience got the benefit of it, which was why you were there in the first place. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
So much, Mary, for sharing your from page to stage.
Thank you.
For now, bye from us.